Shapoli, how are you doing? So if you ask yourself the question, why do I have low self-esteem? Then make sure to stick around, because in this video we're diving deep in this very sensitive subject. And of course I share a couple of tips with you on building high self-esteem in the most healthy way, of course, so you don't become like another narcissist. Also make sure really to stick to the end, because I will share one very powerful tip with you that I've learned in one of the coaching programs I have followed. And I strongly believe that is going to help you right now today in order to build more self-confidence and higher levels of self-esteem. So let's dive straight into this video. So why do I have low self-esteem? Let's dive deep into this topic and let's have a look at the core, the root cause of the problem. Now, how do you know if you have low self-esteem? Let's have a look at that first. Let's say, for example, you see a video on the internet, that is promoting the good life, wealth, health, abundance, beautiful relationships, material things, all these kind of things, right? And you discovered like, hey, you know what? You only have to start this business from home, for example, and then you can have the good life. So you think, you know what, let's try that. Let's try it out. You put your money in, you're trying to advertise online, and then you feel like, you know what, like, hey, these ad platforms, they are taking away my money and I'm not getting anything in return. It's the fault of the internet, it's the fault of the business, it's this, it's that, and so on and so on. And you surrender yourself into a blame game. You feel powerless, you feel without any kind of control, and you feel like the world is it's out there to get you, right? And it's very difficult for you to trust other people. For you it's very difficult to trust yourself, to trust a process of, let's say, manifesting your dreams, goals and desires. Now this is of course just one example related to career, business and finance, of course, but this could be the same when you want to date someone, right? When you want to attract, let's say, your soulmates, and of course you also sabotage yourself in that way. Of course also related to fitness, health and that sort of things, right? When you say like, okay, this is not quick enough, so why bother? Okay, why bother at all? It's too painful, I can't be bothered with it. Okay, and then you lose yourself in a stage of inertia, right, where you stay stuck in where you are. Okay, and then you become dissatisfied with yourself, and you surrender yourself to a sense of apathy. All right, and from apathy you go even worse, you feel depressed, and then self-doubt kicks even further, even harder. All right, and you feel sometimes you are like a ship without sails, a ship without an engine, just drifting somewhere at the ocean, drifting on the waves of life, and life is coming at you, right? Instead of you step into your own personal powers and you go and make it happen, right? You raise your sails, you turn on the engine, and bam, you go through the storm no matter what. So when do you know when you have, let's say, healthy self-esteem, okay? Now let's say you have healthy self-esteem when you can, let's say, be in the center of the storm, all right? Be in the center or be in the eye of the storm. It's where, you are in complete control over your mental, emotional and spiritual state of being, okay? You see like, okay, so all my thoughts, all my emotions are coming at me, all right, it's fine. And without any kind of judgment, you just take it for what it is, okay? And you stay centered and you are at ease with yourself and you experience a deeper sense of inner peace, all right? And with not much effort, you go out and you make things happen for yourself, and you always seek for ways to empower and lift up others. Okay, it's where I would like to say is where your glass of consciousness, your glass of water has been filled up with pure light, love, consciousness, and is now flowing over to the world. All right, you feel like you are like a little drop of water who's connected to this ocean, with the awareness that if you serve that ocean, the ocean will serve you. All right, and all the resources that you need, that is going to support your purpose. All right, you feel connected to a purpose. I think you get the point. So what happened, what happened that you cannot be in that state of being, okay? What happened that you cannot experience a sense of, inner peace and personal empowerment? What happened that you cannot experience the sense of confidence and higher level of self-esteem. It goes back to the early stages of your childhood, okay? That's where it got started for me, of course, you know, because if you don't know me, if you just came up this video at my channel and you don't know me yet, I struggled a lot with low self-esteem. I struggled a lot with high levels of anxiety, depression, burnout, and that sort of things. And the reason I have been through that is because I was really concerned about my so-called external or so-called physical identity. Because again, you know, let's go back to the example of, you know, you saw a video that's promoting the good life and you think, okay, so that is what it means to be happy, all right? Because what you are right now is you are not happy. And in some way, you believe subconsciously that you don't deserve to be happy. You believe in some way you don't believe you are worthy of happiness, love, and joy, and fulfillment, and satisfaction, and connection, and relationships, and health, and wealth, abundance, all these kind of things. So there's in some way a deep-rooted belief that you are unworthy, all right? You are unworthy. That's what you want to believe. Of course, I can ask you, is that what you want to believe? And you say to yourself, no, of course not. But in some way you do. So you have to find a way to, you know, get out of these beliefs that are, you know, stuck as a thought form in your subconscious mind. So where is this coming from? Okay. Now, if you create awareness and understanding of where this is actually coming from, then, you know, you can start working on that and eliminate these beliefs and, you know, fill up your own glass of pure light, love, consciousness. Because that's who you are, you know, at the deeper sense of your essence. It's just like, you know, sometimes your soul has been covered up by a layer of dirt and mud, and now you want to wash that away so you can, you know, shine your own light to the world. That's the whole idea. So where is this coming from? So let me share a little bit of my story, of my background when I was in my early childhood. My parents went through a divorce when I was about 10 years old. My father woke us up in the middle of the night and say, your parents are going to divorce and I'm going to drop you right now with the mother from your mother, right, your grandmother. So with no understanding, a lot of crying, you know, that sort of things. Eventually my mother, after a couple of months, decided, okay, I'm going to leave this local place where we live in. I'm going to move to another side of the country and you have to come with us. Now, what I picked up, because there's of course a good reason why my parents divorced, because in some way my father also had very low self-esteem and adapted to a so-called narcissistic personality disorder, but that's a subject for something else. But it's very related to this. And he, of course, projected all his doubts, his fears and worries, anxieties, of course, onto my mother. And that's why my mother was very fearful for us. And that's why I personally picked up that my world felt very unsafe, okay? So my environment felt very safe and secure to grow up with. And when my mother said, okay, I'm going to move to another part of the country, I said, no way, forget about it, I'm not going with you, I want to stay here at my place. So long story short, but eventually my father had to hire a couple of lawyers, went to a couple of cases in courthouse in order to win the custody over me. So back in Holland, of course, there's a law like the mother always should win the custody over the children. So it took us a couple of cases in courthouse in order for me to stay with my father under a condition of a child protection scheme by various social workers. So a social worker come to my house, see how everything is going. So for me that felt like, you know what, my free will as a human being has been taken away. Now, moving further down in my childhood, I always felt when my father came home from his work and I was, you know, getting lost in my distractions of playing video games and that sort of things, I always felt when he came home, like, is he going to peacefully neglect me? Or is he going to throw all his emotional garbage over me? And that's the type of fear I always had as a young child. And that actually lost the connection with my true authentic self, my inner self. And that gives us a distortion in our self-image, you know, like how do we see ourselves? What are your values? What do you value? What kind of value can you give to others? So there's like a distortion in that self-image. And that is of course going to continue in your adult life as well. So when you see, let's say, a video on the internet, like The Good Life, you buy into that because you think that can make me happy. Because these people are happy, these people are excited, so maybe that can make me feel excited as well. And you keep chasing down that rabbit hole, this loophole of actually really going nowhere. Because you have to find a way to allow yourself to be happy with yourself. And really the way to do that is to find a way not to please someone else, but to find a way to inspire and empower someone else, is to be of service of someone else without any expectations and without any kind of neediness. And that's really going to build up, I might say, you know, your confidence and of course your self-image on what you value and type of values that you can offer. And probably you might say right now, well, you know, right now I'm in a full-time job working 50-60 hours a week. I have absolutely no time for myself, because what you're right now concerned about is building up your external so-called physical identity by getting material things, because you want to identify yourself with specific kind of brands, because that's you think, and that's what our society wants you to believe. That is giving you an identity, that is defining who you are, which of course is not the case. That's why you are not happy with yourself. So you got to take a step back in order to step up in consciousness and more self-awareness. And maybe you want to take a job that requires the less time, that is not going to suck out your life force, and commit to personal and spiritual development, is to create a different self-image for yourself. Because here's the thing, you know, like another reason why you're not really are connected with your own true authentic self, you know, with your values, is because you're living a life of expectations, right? Let's say, like, again, let's go back to your childhood. Let's say in early childhood, you know, like someone made you believe, like your mother or your father didn't want you, so that's why you're not worthy of love, of attention and approval and that sort of things. But from early days in our childhood, but also society, we get projected a lot of expectations, you know, like who do we think we are, and who do we think we should be, and how do we should behave, and what we should be doing, and what we should be getting, and all those kind of things. And also that's not a way that we are, you know, missing the connection with our inner self. You know, it's your job, your duty, responsibility and obligation is to free yourself from these external expectations and do that what makes you happy. Because that is going to build up your self-esteem, your self-confidence, your values. But even though, you know, even when you say, okay, I can say, okay, I like that, and now I want to bring that out in the world. Let me give you an example. I enjoy being in nature. I love walking in nature. So I want to share that joy with others. Because for me, it's always a moment of self-reflection where I can dive deep within myself. And then I would like to share my insights, my knowledge with the world. Now there is of course a part when I come back from nature, is that I need to go and edit my videos, upload it to YouTube, optimize my videos. Otherwise no one is going to find it, and that sort of things. So there's always like a part like, oh, okay, well, that's maybe a little bit less interesting. My number one tip is what I learned in one of the coaching programs I have followed that helped me to build up my self-esteem, is go and do that what you hate doing most, because that is going to give you a feeling of accomplishment. And instead of chasing down expectations, chasing down material things that's going to build up your physical identity, chase down or go after your feeling state. And if you do something that you hate doing most, and do that first in the beginning of your day, at the beginning of your weekend, when you don't have to work in your job, you're going to feel more accomplished, and it's going to satisfy you, and it's going to make you feel happier. And then you really can start to work from within to the external world, and you're going to feel more empowered, and you're going to feel more, you're going to trust yourself more in the process, which of course is also going to help you to trust others, trust your manifestation process, where you don't have to hunt down anything else in your external world. And again, you know, just really focus on your feeling state. Focus on your feeling state, and everything else will fall around it. So really, that's the number one thing I wanted to share with you. But of course, you know, there's so much more to it. There's just so much more to it. And really, the number one thing that is affecting humanity right now is also something that I learned from my teacher in this more advanced course program that I followed, as he found a way of what it is that is affecting humanity right now in ripping us from our self-esteem and sense of self. And that's really like something else that I wanted to share with you, but I think like this video is going to be too long right now. So if you will be interested, then I will leave a link below this video where you can go ahead and check it out, what it is that is affecting humanity right now in ripping us from our self-esteem, confidence and sense of self. So if you would like to learn more about that, then go ahead, check the link below this video, and let me know if you saw any new insights in this video. Did you saw any value in this? If so, then leave your comments below, and I'm really looking forward to learn more about you and your story. Paul here. See you later. Take care for now. Bye bye.